Before you know these are colors I'm not mis. Okay, here comes a good one. Unexpected in the shadows. I like to put unexpected things everywhere. I don't know, you ever remember being a kid and playing with the shadows on the wall and doing little birds and Hi, welcome to Give Your Wall Some Soul. I'm Shannon Grissom. Well, I have to tell you, I've never had so many emails, phone calls in my life, and that was about the replacement of the old sock monkey. And so I have to tell you, he's back, he's here, dun, 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 and he's here to stay. I won't take him to book signings. I'm going to have to use the stunt double for that. But, yep, he's back on the show, and so thanks for all the calls and emails. I really appreciated your feedback. Okay. Today we're going to work on a figure painting. And we've done so many three-parters, two-parters, and mini-series lately that I want to do a fast action painting. Now, it's kind of an oxymoron to do a portrait, but this isn't really a portrait, but a figurative work, for me anyway, that's done in one sitting, in 1 hour. But I wanted something loose. It's a backlit subject. And so I'm going to be able to just, well, we'll see. This is my goal, is to be able to crank this puppy out in an hour and show you that you can get a likeness and that you can get some sort of representation just using big shapes and not futzing with the details. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now my temptation, or what I'd really like to do is start with the face, but you know what? If I started with her face, and Christy, the model, is just a beautiful gal, I could do that for days. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to start with everything else, save the face for last, and that will force me to work quickly. All right, so I'm going to start with her shirt, and I'm going to use something I very seldom use, and that's ivory black. It's expeditious to just go ahead and block that in a black, and I'm going to use it straight out of the tube with some medium. And I'll just go ahead and block it in. When you have a backlit subject like this, you really can't see a lot of details on the face. Especially, in the camera can. When you see it on the camera, you can see a lot of details in your face. But when you're in person and you're actually looking at somebody and there's sunlight behind them, you're pretty much blinded. So I'm going to paint this more realistic, how you would see it in person. All right, so let's just throw some paint down and get her vest painted in, or her shirt here. And I'm just doing some straight black. Big brush, big strokes. Just get it down. Like that one comedian, get her done. And she's got some hair, which is nice. It breaks up that shape, so I'll leave that. I'm going to try not to be too sloppy. I could do that too. Okay, this moves over a little bit this way. The model probably forgot, I posed her a couple years ago in a cafe, bistro in downtown Hollister, California. And it's been so long since I posed her, she probably forgot all about it. So you never know. She'll be flipping the channels and see herself. Okay. All right, I can't even see now in my reference photo that I'm looking at. I can't even see where her hair ends and where her shirt stops. So it's going to be that very same dark value. So that's a good start on the shirt. There's some more down here. Just very simple shapes. Now the chair is black too, but I think that would be a little bit confusing. So. And I'm tempted to paint it red, but I have to think about that. I'll paint the background in first. It was a gray, cold day in January when I took the photo. And I'm going to make it a little bit warmer out there than it was. I'm going to warm this up with a little bit of Cad Yellow Deep and some white. Get that sidewalk painted. I'm not going to paint the newspaper stands. Somebody asked me if she worked for the freelance, and because that was in the background, that just happened to be there. Okay. Boy, this palette's already fallen down. We may have to switch this upside down. All right, so I can tell you this is too wimpy. I'm going to add a little bit of bright back there. Okay, so that's good. And what else do I see here? We've got a windowsill. Took some pictures. It was an interesting photo shoot. I took some pictures in the mirror. And eventually she'll be a series, but it's funny. Usually when people work on series, they work on them concurrently. And this one's developing over 1 or 2 a year. So when I'm 80, I'll get it done. I'm not sure if I like this color yet, but I'm going to wait till I get more in before I judge it. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit cooler in the street. Add a little blue to it. Maybe a little violet. See what happens. I don't want it too bright or too dark. Okay. Now when this happens, you can see that this palette paper's buckling, this thing's just falling apart. I'm actually going to take the time to move my paint over really quickly. And I'll show you how I do that. Because if I leave it like this, it will drive us all nuts. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly put that up there. Looks like the next layer is going to stay better. And you take your cloth and move it over and wipe your knife each time, and that way you don't contaminate the color that's up there. I'm doing this as quickly as possible. Yeah, the other one's up there good, so it's not going to slide. Now normally I paint on a flat surface. I don't have it raised like this, but it's a lot easier for you guys to see the palette on television if I put it at an angle like this. So I don't usually have this problem. Okay. I gotta make sure by the time I get down to the white at the very end, I want to make sure that my knife is really clean. I hate to pick up other colors when I'm not ready for them. Okay. I'll move this over here. It's always kind of dangerous when you see me going across a room with some paint. I tend to get it everywhere. All right, now we can paint. I've moved it over. Throw that out. Okay, so I made this gray color. I started to anyway. I'm going to mix that gray with some more white. And it's still too cold for me. I'm trying to decide whether I want red or whether I want a little bit of orange to go with it. I think we'll grab some Cad Yellow Deep and a little bit of red. Just a little bit. That's better. Because even though it's cooler, oh, that's much nicer. It's a good neutral. Might be too dark, but I'm going to wait till I put it up there before I smash in it. That looks good. I'm laughing because the palette paper is doing the same thing, and I'm not going to change it again. I'm just dealing with it. Tis the glue. Okay, there's, it might be too dark. That's a nice neutral. Notice it's a lot warmer than what's actually in the reference photo. And that's because I want it that way. And you know what? We don't know where the street stops, and who cares what's really behind her? That's why you paint and you make up your own things. I like that. We're going to make some mystery going on behind this girl. Get rid of some of those pencil lines. I'm going right into her hair. We can go over the top of that later. And I'm really scribbling fast and furious here. This is not a contemplative painting. Now I left some of that golden on the brush, so as it's lower here, it's going to have more of the yellowish golden stuff in it, and it'll be cooler as it gets toward the top. Cooler and lighter. I don't want it to be top heavy, the background. The canvas itself is a hand-stretched canvas, and I use a lot of texture on it. So this is, you can either, when you put gesso on it, you can either sand it smooth, but I wanted to see what happens. So you can see a lot of this texture going on in the background. It adds some interest. Just depends on my mood whether I use this kind of canvas or not. Yeah, I like that. That's cooler, a little more violet. I'm going to stick a little, okay, I was tempted to go straight. All right, if I was at home, I'd go straight for that blue and contaminate it, and then I'd have a mess. But, you know, really, what you should do is grab a little bit, move it over, so that when you get into it, you're not making a mess of this row up here. You want to try to keep this clean. And, you know, think about this like if you play a piano, and you know the keys are always in the same place, so you know where to go when you're playing. If you don't play an instrument, you're probably on the computer a lot. And imagine if if all the keys were in a different place every time you went to use it. It would be really difficult to use. So it does help to be consistent with how you lay out your palette. That said, sometimes it's fun to just put something in a different place. But for the most part, I keep my warm colors on one side and the cool on the other. Oh, that's too dark, way too dark. A little bit of blue was okay. That was too much. I'm going to put some, I can do that on the edges and get away with it. And just get it off my brush. Or I could have wiped it with a paper towel, but no. Okay, I need to grab some more white. This is a fairly new tube of white, so you got to knead it first. Otherwise, the oil will come out first, and you'll get no pigment. God, you know what? There's purple on here. There's dioxazine purple on this tube. And yesterday, I get home, it's really late, and I guess I had spilled some purple on the carpet in the studio. Didn't realize it. And I looked down at my feet like, I was barefoot. What's going on there? I had trailed that purple all over the house. And now it's on this. I don't know. I don't know. If you get at it fast, or fairly fast, you can get it out of the carpet. Okay, I just did what I told you not to do. I went and grabbed some straight white without just moving it over. Whoops. Okay, that's nice. Little neutral gray. I want this to be a little cooler so that when her hair's warm, it's not competing. I'm doing crisscross strokes just to add interest. And I have to get off this background because we got a lot to do tonight. Got a great idea for next time, too. I was thinking about objects that I saw this painting of a light switch. That was just a light socket. And it was absolutely beautiful. And I thought, there are a lot of people that might not just be able to. Now, of course, there's paintings that I might want to paint that I just think are fantastic, but I'm not worried about whether there's a market or somebody's going to put a light switch or a light socket on their wall. But just appreciate the beauty and the different color that you can see in that. That'll be a great show. So we're going to do that next time. There really is beauty in it. Sit there and stare at it. Little outlets look like happy faces. No, I haven't been breathing too much liquid. Okay, I'm going to step back from the background. Yeah, that's a nice neutral. Yeah, neutral. I don't want it to fight with her. I also don't want the strokes to look like they stopped when they saw her, so I have to change that. But other than that, oops, we don't want horns or anything. Okay, that's great. Now we'll throw some more of the background. Got to wipe the brush off, use the same one. Some more with a little bit of the golden warmer color down below. And then decide what I'm going to do with the rest of it. So it does help to have a goal in mind when you start to paint. And the goal could just be to paint something beautiful. It doesn't have to be anything beyond that. My goal for this painting and for this lesson is to be able to put paint down quickly, not fuss over it, and have the energy and the excitement of the moment show up in the painting. Okay, so we've got slats of a chair. I think that's confusing back there, so I'm not sure if I want to put that in or not. We'll see. We'll put a little bit of this. I think we could get away with doing a black chair if it had red in it. So I'm going to get a square brush because it's going to be easier to handle that shape with something that's squared off. I'll go ahead and put the black. Too much medium. Going right up into her arm, and then we will paint over it later. Yeah, the good thing about it is if it doesn't work out, then you can just paint over it and try a different background if this is just too much or not making sense. We'll see. Okay, because I'm not doing quite everything that's in the reference photo. Okay, so we had some of that going down, and there really isn't any more. This is part of the ledge, and that might be a little confusing too. There really isn't more of the chair till, let's see, right around her arm. So just above, there's some light there, a little bit of stuff there. This is a shape here. That's that. This is where her, now you can't paint this part of the chair that's in sunlight the same as her vest. That's totally going to be confusing. You got to warm it up quite a bit. So now I'm going to go into the red, and I'll pull some down, some cad red light. Why did I pick cad red light out of all the other reds I have up here? And that's because it's opaque, and I know that it will be good over the black. It'll warm it up just a little bit, make this nice little brown, black brown color. That's pretty. That's almost as happy as those happy cows that I painted, that I was talking about. I'm going to do a photo shoot with a whole bunch of cows. I'm so excited. And you know, I don't know if you saw the show where I was just excited about all these brown cows that I saw. They were so gorgeous. And I'm going, I think it's next weekend, to a ranch, and I'm going to shoot photos of all these cows. And, oh, we're going to have to do a show on a cow. I'd like to do just a cow's face. We'll have to do that. They're so expressive. Okay, now this has to be a lot lighter down here. So I'll add some cad yellow deep to this red. And now it's this Halloween orange. And that'll be fine just for the base. And I'll add some, do I want to add some white? Because it's almost, yeah, I'll take this, this base and add the black to it over the top. Okay, so I changed my mind halfway through. This is the lights hitting the top of the chair. And, God, it's probably really hard to see with the palette in the way, so I'm going to move this up. Ah, just put my finger in the paint. So the light's hitting the top of the chair. So it's way light, even though it's a black chair. And I will throw some black over the top. That's almost table color. I don't know if that's going to work, but that's okay. I don't have time to, that's what's good about this show. I don't have time to play around with it. Either it's going to work or it's not. Okay, so that, I think I can throw some dark over the top. And we'll have it all point to the table. All the strokes in. Okay, my internal little alarm is going off saying, you're spending too much time on that corner, keep moving. I have to get the canvas covered, and if I have enough time to play around with certain areas, that's great, but right now I don't. Okay, I'm gonna make a nice little violet blue for the shadowy part back here. And I have to put this back on the easel before I knock it off. And you guys have seen me do that before. Talk about getting paint everywhere. Okay. When I first moved to Hollister, I did not know about the wind. It's very windy there. And I set up painting outside, because when we moved there, it was in the fall, later fall, and it wasn't that windy. And in the spring, I put a painting outside. I had put some varnish on it, and I wanted it to dry. So I put it outside and leaned it against the wall, which was just not a good idea. Wind came up, blew it over, and so it went, face down okay, so it's covered with varnish, face down. So you have, imagine this, you spend months on a painting, you get it done, you put varnish over it, and there it goes face down onto concrete. So it's got rocks, dog hair, everything else you can think of. And well, first I cried, and I probably said some bad words, and then But then what I did was I was able to rectify it. I took, because I wasn't giving up, this was a good painting. So I took tons, so if this ever happens to you, take tons of varnish and just keep gently going over the top till you get all the sediment and all that other good stuff off of there. And then once that dries and you've scraped everything off, then you can get a good final coat on there and try again. It did have a little extra texture that I had not intended, but what are you going to do? All right, that's a nice, it might be too dark, but that's okay. I'll try it and see, maybe with a little bit of. The one thing about violet, when you add the white to it, I don't want it to be too wimpy. I don't like wimpy colors, but you know what? Neutrals are necessary so that these other colors can sing. Ooh, there's some nice red that was still in my brush. That's great. That was happy. Okay. Do I want to leave that? Maybe. Yeah, I'll just put this right here. And I think I'll stick this right up here too. Because nobody but me and you know what the reference photo looks like. So if they're just some abstract shapes back there and they make sense, then it works, then just do it. Okay, this is a good important part, this little section right in here, just to give that illusion of space. So I'm going to put a little bit of dark here, and then that light that I'll put in there is important to make that pop a little bit. I want to make it about the same. I have to tell you, straight lines and stuff like that at home, I'll get a level to make sure that a level or T-square to make sure I'm straight. And sometimes I'm crooked and it's okay. I like this. This is if anybody who's seen the show before, this is an interesting choice of palette. It's a lot cooler in the background than anything I normally work on. And I didn't intend this to happen, but I'm just going for it. I actually thought of painting her top. I thought about doing that red. That would have changed the whole feel of the painting. But I wanted to keep that whole backlit thing going. Okay, so what do we have here? This is part of the window, and we'll just make a little line here. Nobody knows what that is, and nobody really cares as long as there's this delineation. And I'll just go ahead and, that's how you make it straight. It's a little higher over here. Add some light, and I may just paint over this little line here. I don't think I like that. We'll grab a little bit of straight cad yellow deep. Yeah, that's happy. I don't want okay, I was just about to put it down and I decided I don't want the same color that I've got up here. That's not good. So I'm going to grab some more white, tone it down a little, and use more of a neutral. But I had some yellow still on my brush, so that's all right. I need a clean brush for this. I really do appreciate the emails and the calls about the monkey and any other topic that you want to talk about, because the feedback I get helps me, improve the show. I have to tell you though, for book signings, he's not coming out because it's just too dangerous with the little ones who like to kind of tear them apart. Okay, I like that. That's better. Spent a lot of time on this background. Have to keep moving. Okay, let's see. How about a quick table cover? So I'm going to do light. What do I want to put there? Maybe light. It's still a muted color. I'm going straight into the Cad Yellow Deep with a little bit of red. And then I think I'll add some more white to that. And I'm going to start with the light side of the table first, and then I'll move over. It's a lot of pressure working on the background and not touching the face. Can't tell you how hard this is. Oh, that's good. So I'm going to lift this up so you can see. In fact, might be easier just for this section. I will carefully turn the painting over. And that way I can get the lower section and it'd be easier to see the paint application. When I first started painting, every time I did this, well, you know, still, it does help. If you paint upside down, helps to turn your reference photo upside down too. I love these. Okay, this is a happy accident that I didn't plan at all. But there's a lot of different color variations here in this part of the table, and that's just because my brush was dirty. I didn't plan that, but it's really cool, and you know, I'm going with it. I could tell you that I planned it to come out that way, but that's not true. Okay. So where's the light on the table? Right here, here. This little texture in the canvas is nice for this table, adds some interest. Okay, now that I got the bottom part painted, I'm going to flip it over again. And I'm going to have to wipe my hands off. Okay, so we want to put that shadow down. And right under the coffee cup, it's darker. And then there's got this little figure of, you know, it's a shadow of her in there. So I think I'll do a little cad red. We have to have red somewhere in this painting, so I'm going to make it a warm shadow. So I'll grab some cad red, get up there, dioxazine purple, also known as carbazole violet. Oh, what a wonderful mahogany color. And that's just way not enough. So grab some more of this. Maybe what I'll do, okay, change my mind. I'm going to grab some of the straight purple for right under the cup. That's going to be the darkest dark under the shadow. So I'm going to pretend like the cup is just covered because I can't really see where it ends from here and where it starts. So that's going to be dark there. And there really is, the darkest part is right here, like in the shape of the cup. And then it starts getting a little redder. And so then I'll put some, oh, that's pretty. Boy, this is not my normal palette, but I'm liking it. And the good thing that's come over time is that I'm not fighting it. Because although it's good to have a goal and a plan, you know, like I said, as far as what I'm starting out with, the other good thing is to be flexible so that when things like this occur, you can just roll with it. Am I always flexible? No, but I try to stay open. You have more flexibility when it's not a commission. Okay, let's see. There's dark right here under, very dark right there. This brush is probably too small, but that's okay. I started using it because it's like my drawing brush, and I never switched over. Let's draw in the edge of the table. And you know, that shadow goes a lot further. It gets lighter as it comes further down, but I'll blend that with the, let's get her little shape of her head. I'll blend that with what's already here. Kind of goes like this. Real technical term. Kind of goes like this. I just start paying attention to the shapes and where they go. And the shadows don't have to be perfect either. They don't have to perfectly align. Unless you're a total stickler for the light source, and it's going to bug you if you know that the light's not hitting there. In that case, then make them perfect. Okay, I need to add some more red to this. Make some more of that color. Yeah, that's pretty. I'm going to take some of the that dirty brush that had the black in it. It's bigger. It'll help me get things down faster because I could be with that tiny brush forever. And you'd never see this thing get painted. Okay, so that needs to be dark right here. I can add the light in over the top. That's light there. I'm constantly checking for where do things occur? What's happening here? Okay, this needs to come all the way out. And I may extend this down. Yeah, in fact, not may, I am extending this down all the way to the edge. So I'm thinking where I cropped it, you wouldn't even be able to see where her shadow started and stopped, so that's good enough. And this has got to be lighter over here. It's not going to work. So I'm grabbing some medium, some light, and that's too much medium. So I'm going to grab some more white paint. So you live and learn or I live and learn by things that work and the things that don't. And I learn a lot more when things don't work. So one of the things I learned today is I will definitely check my palette paper before I come to a shoot like this to make sure it's not going to bubble and be uncooperative. Okay. I want to get this down first before I start blending. And I'm going to do a really rough, quick blend because I'm keeping in mind how much time we have in the show, and there's a lot that we haven't covered yet. Okay. I gotta stay away from this because I'm tending to play with it. All right, I'm gonna leave this just like it is right now. It's rough, but it's a good base for the background. And now I need some instant gratification. Definitely got to get some of this stuff going here so that it really looks like something's going on. All right, so where does light hit? Got to warm up her top just a little bit. And you know what? I'll make that an olive color. You know, interesting thing, when you put yellow over the top of black, you can get a really nice olive green. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some straight cad yellow deep. And it's just a nice little phenomenon. So I'm grabbing the straight cad yellow deep, put that right over the top. Well, you need a little more paint to make it work. But who would have thought that black and yellow make green? Okay. Then I better wipe this brush. I'm only allowing myself a little more time here, and then I've got to move on to the other areas. Okay, blended that a little better. There just simply was not enough paint put down. Too much medium. All right, so let's put in her hair. And basically, how are we going to do that? With just two quick strokes, or not strokes, but two different values, light and dark. So the light part of her hair will be similar to the background, but it can't be too similar. I'm going to make a nice little brown with cad red light, some of this permanent green. And that's a mid value. So on here, it's way too dark, so I will add some light. Grab all the light that's around here. All right, I'm going to put some straight white down, put that over the top, and then put in the dark. Very quick way to do that. If I have any left. I'm going to go into this because it's already contaminated. And it's getting toward the end of the show, and it's a mess, and I don't care. Well, okay, so it's toward the middle of the show, but whatever. All right, so where's the light part of her hair? It's light right up here. And it's, see, I'm just putting some strokes in here. A little bit of, you know what? I didn't put any background there. That's light. That's not light. That's it. Okay, so we need a little background color here. Fill in. For where I missed. That's good enough. All right, so now we need the medium. I have too much medium, too much paint, too much everything. All right, so there's a medium tone right here. And a little bit medium here. Part of her curls. She had great curls. She was a good model. Okay, and there's a little bit of little tendrils kind of hanging out there. But I gotta use a smaller brush for that. A little messy, and that's how it was, just little things sticking out. And I need some more background color there, so that makes sense. So I have to find something cool. Now I need to put in the dark and move on to other areas. Okay, Do I want to grab some black? I'm tempted to because it might be a good way to get there fast. So I'm going to give it a shot. Why did I hesitate? Well, the real reason is that I very seldom use black. So I didn't know what it was going to do. And I like to know what things are going to do before I show you. But we can both be surprised. It's kind of like my husband just shakes his head. I'll try new recipes on people, on company. Hey, you know, usually they work out okay. What's the worst that could happen? That they don't. And it gives them something to talk about the next time they come over. God, someday I'll have to tell you about this clam chowder I made. That was bad. That was bad. Okay. This is working. Now I'm not using the straight back. That would just be too harsh for her hair. Let's see. There's some. I lost her part. Oh well. I will have to get that back because that looks kind of funny. All right, I need to just stop there though. Step away from the hair. I'm not even going to blend it, do anything, because we have to, you know, we have lots of stuff to get done. All right, so we need to put some more, there is some more hair here, so we can do that. And I need to warm that up. And what else was our hair doing? Well, it's going to get a little lighter here where the light hits. And needs to be a little bit lighter in the very end. Got a dirty brush here. All right, quickly, need to put some skin tone down. All right, so we need a little more space here, but we don't have time to move it over this time. This is a race. Okay, so we'll put in the light part of her skin, which is simply cad yellow deep and white. And I've moved it over. It's probably hard to see, but anyway, that's going to be the light part of her face. And whoa, knocking everything over here. Need a clean brush for this because I want to keep these distinct. All right, where do I see light? She has light on the top of her shoulder. Ooh, that's way too close to, I'm going to add some red. Way too close to the background color. I think later I would cool the background color, but don't have that option right now. Okay, so there's some light there. There's some light. So she's a little sunburned. Okay, in January. And it's as simple as just looking at where are the lights and where are the darks. All right, so there's light, 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 light. A little bit of light right here on her. And then her thumb. I need a smaller brush. That's asking for it, using something that big. All right, so this is light right where her thumb is. And there's just a squirrely little light shape like right here. It's going to make this very abstract to get done in time. And then there's some light here. Light across the top. A little light here. There. And then the only other places, there's some right on this side of her head. some light here. And then we need a medium. Ooh. Well, that's pretty. We'll see if that works. That's a dark. And this is medium. Yeah, without this liquid, we would not get anywhere today. Okay. Throw on a little dark right here. I'm going to have to make her hair more pronounced or that's not going to work, but I can't do anything about that today. I want to definitely get this thing covered. And I'm going to be bold and just put some dark shapes on her face. I mean, you see me before spend, you know, half the show on the eyes. I'm not going to do that today. That's a little too brown. It's just a little, matches her hair a little too much, so I'm going to cool that down. Purple. Throw some purple on her face. Okay, where are the lights hitting? Where are the darks? She's got dark hair. Under her nose. And it's kind of this round thing. She looks like she's been in a Western and painted. Okay, so I'm stepping back, and she looks pretty scary right now. So let's add some of the other darker values in here. I'm going to grab some straight purple, just because you know that's my favorite drawing color. I don't know if this is too big or not. We'll see. Okay, so she's got some purple eyebrows. And we need dark for the eyes. These are dark. Actually, you know, this always scares people when I do this, but the eye part is really dark and you put in the light over the top. And this whole thing just kind of comes down like that. That's dark. I can tell you right now, I'm getting really close. I don't think I'm going to make it. Okay, and then for the top of the lip, think positive, Shannon. Top of the lip's always darker than the bottom. So I'm just going to throw in some dark color here. And some light. Why is it darker? Because it's shaded by the nose. Okay, so we've got some of that color here. We need some mid-tones going on, and then we might be able to fix her little face. Sorry about this, Christy. She's a lot prettier than what I'm making her look like here. Okay. That's dark. There's some light there. And light there. And I need that mid-tone. All right, so I'm going to have to mix that. As my palette's falling to the floor. Oh no, I didn't get that done. All right. Well, she's definitely got energy. It might not be the one I was thinking of, but Okay, so let's put the mid-tone in and see if we can blend her away and do a miracle. I can hear somebody out there saying, why didn't you start the face first? Okay. Dark hair. Little bits of light and dark. That's all we're worried about here. And it's a little darker under her nose. Whoops. That was... Oh, it's looking funny. It's a good thing you can't see. Poor thing. You can see, though, in the in a few little tiny minutes that are left, that this face, even as crude as it is starting to take shape. All right, I'm not going to futz around with that because I promised that we would try and cover the canvas. And I'm just going to throw in some medium tone for the arms. This is lighter here. Some light right here. So how would you finish this? Well, I'm not sure it depends on what level you want to take it to. But I would finish covering the canvas. But this was done as a pure study just to see how far I could do and what kind of energy I could get done in an hour. Will I take it and play with it? Yeah, I think I will, but I'm only going to do it one more shot because I want it to be really fresh. I don't want it to be something that looks like I labored over it. If I can throw in some black hair and they're like, wrap it up, Shannon. Okay, so I've got some dark right in here for the coffee cup. You can throw in a few little bits here and there of some dark colors. But really, I think the point, although I didn't get the painting as far along as I wanted it, the point's really definitely well taken in that you can put big shapes down and just concentrate on the bigger areas and still come up with a likeness. Now, is this a finished painting? No, but it wouldn't take that much to take this to the next level. So go ahead and give it a shot and put down just big splotches of color. Come back into it next time and work it out. I wanted to thank you for watching, give your wall some soul, and thanks from the monkey too. Bye. I'm Shannon Grissom.